I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review. This is a PayPal request from Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to everyone who has done that. If you ever want to request reviews or re-reviews or movie topics or any other type of videos, you can do so either directly via my PayPal, which the link to that will be down below, or you can join me on my Patreon, and that link will be down below as well. If not, no worries. If so, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But the film he wanted for now is The Villainess, which I've never heard of this movie. It came out in 2017. And really, although I had a couple little pacing issues, because it's about 2 hours long, I rather enjoyed it. This was a nice surprise. Pretty much, it's an Asian version of La Femme Nikita. And to be perfectly honest, I like it more than La Femme Nikita. Because I barely remember the TV show, but I have seen the Luc Besson movie. Could not get into it. There's other Luc Besson films I enjoy more, like Leon the Professional or The Fifth Element. And Point of No Return, could not get into that as well. But this one, it's not exactly following the story of La Femme Nikita, but that's what it reminded me more than others. And when the actions happen, they're, again, for a film I've never heard of, they're pretty damn cool. I mean, the first 10 minutes is done in the style of Hardcore Henry, where it's a POV and this lady who's an assassin, she's fighting these other bad guys, and it opens up strong. I mean, I almost want to say a bit too strong. I almost want to say it blows his load before the rest of the movie, but there's some pretty good fights in between as well. I will say this is the best action scene. It's the first scene in the movie, but there's still some good throughout it. But if you ever seen Hardcore Henry, it's done in that POV where she's shooting people and then she's killing like 20, 30 people in a hallway with a bunch of knives, and then she's fighting these people. And I like the transition where it's POV, then someone slams her against a mirror, and then when you see the reflection, it backs out, and then we're in third person, so we see her fighting all these people in a gym. Again, really good fight sequence. And then the first 10 minutes, a lot of fun. If not for anything else, at least watch it for that. But she does her business, she gets caught by the cops, and then this is where the La Femme Nikita thing comes in, where she's caught, but then she's part of this agency, and then they fake her death, and then they give her a new identity, and we want you to work for us as an assassin. In this case, it's for 10 years, and then the girl finds out that she's pregnant, so the deal is, hey, you'll have your child, you work with us for 10 years, once you're done, sayonara. And then throughout the film, we're getting flashbacks that show a little bit of her history, where her father was murdered at a young age, and then this person with this little, I guess you call it a mustache, I guess like this, so yeah, mustache, kind of like this, not big, but a little bit, trains her when she's 8 years old, and throughout the film, it goes back to these flashbacks. Also, then mixed in with her doing some missions. In one instance, she fights a guy with a sword. I thought that was interesting, like during the sword fight, at times they'll cut to POV. So they're fighting with a sword, and all of a sudden it's a POV of her blocking the sword or trying to thrust at the guy with the sword. I thought that was interesting. There is a sequence with a motorcycle that, granted, this other movie, I could say, did it better. But did the people who did John Wick 3 watch this movie? There's a motorcycle scene that's very reminiscent of the scene in John Wick 3. Again, I do think the John Wick 3 was done better because you can see his face and it's a bit longer of a scene, maybe because of bigger budget. But here is still rather good, where it's a motorcycle sequence, a chase sequence, and it involves swords. I can't think of many other films where you get your lead character and a bunch of people with swords and you're fighting with swords. I'm like, and this is 2017. This is when John Wick 2 came out. So again, part of me wonders if they watched a bunch of movies and then they saw this and then they saw this scene, they're like, what if we have a theme like that for John Wick 3? Maybe not. Maybe it's one of those where serendipity, but it does make me wonder. But let me just state, I do love John Wick 3 much more, and I do like the scene in John Wick 3 much more, but this was still pretty damn solid sequence. And how much do I really want to give away? I will say at the middle mark, sadly it does slow down with the action because it did more into the story, where you have this other guy who's supposed to be taping tabs on her, but then they have a little bit of a friendship romance thing going on. And then she's finding more flashbacks to what happened to her old mentor. And is that someone she should have trusted or not should have trusted? Was he dead or did he fake his death? So it's going through this whole thing of that nature. And the acting wasn't bad. It's a nicely shot picture. I guess because the first half of the film, it was so driven by action that I thought, on one hand, I get that you need to stop to get the story going, but maybe that threw me off a little bit. And the fact of, it's as if there's a kid, you've given it sugar, and now it's a time where you're not giving them much sugar, and they're like, I keep thinking of Dave Chappelle, you know, the crack. Where is it? Where's the track? It's like, where's the action? So whether that's a positive or negative, that'd be up to you, because it's all subjective. But yeah, the first half of the film, it seemed like there was action, and then at the halfway point, it fairly slows down, and then it feels like there's a chunk of the movie where there's not much of any action. And like I said, on one hand, I get it, because they need to tell the story. On the other hand, it's like, I'm looking for the other sugar rush. Where is it? I mean, the story was fine. It's not something that we haven't seen before. I mean, I mentioned Femme Nikita. There's other movies too where, you know, assassin has flashbacks and then they start remembering things and learning more about them, learning more about what's going on. That's something you've seen in quite a few films before and since. But I don't think it was done badder. I think the actors did their jobs well. It's a good-looking movie. The finale, there's some really solid action pieces. In particular, dealing with a bus, where she's driving the car and she gets on top of the car and then she has to hang off the bus and she's hanging for dear life. This is all at nighttime, and then slams into the bus, and then it's fighting all these people and throwing some out of the bus. So I thought that was fairly satisfying. A fairly satisfying action sequence to end your film on within this bus as it's going full force. I thought that was pretty cool. It's well shot. I thought it was a nice surprise because, as I stated, this is a film I had never heard of before. I think if you like action films, if people, well, there's never any strong women. There's no strong women anymore. There's never such a strong women. Have you seen this movie? Have you seen Everly? Have you seen Lara Croft Tomb Raider? Have you seen Aliens? Have you seen The Terminator? Have you seen almost every slasher film in the 80s and even the 90s, like Nev Campbell and Scream? How you want me to keep going? Fuck. I mean, you ever see Kidnap with Halle Berry? I have. I enjoy it. How many more you want me to name? Have you heard of people like Michelle Yeoh? It's insane to me. People, people don't. Some people. There's never any strong women. There's this movie, and I thought it was pretty damn decent. Like I said, it's 2 hours long. I think a good 10 minutes could have been cut out of it. Sort of in the middle section. The story, it was fine. Again, there's nothing remarkably original done, but at the same time, if what it had to be. The actors did their jobs well. I wouldn't say anybody stood out for me. But I thought the lead girl, and it's weird that she's called the Villainess, because you think, oh, she's the villain of the movie, but that's not the case. She's not the bad guy in the movie. But she's an assassin, but she's not the villain. But yet it's called the Villainess. So I'm not sure what that title's all about. But yeah, if you like action movies overseas done that style, if you watch the trailer, it interests you. If you want to see a movie done in the vein of La Femme Nikita, but in my opinion, I found it more exciting than that one. Aside from some pacing issues in the middle of the movie, at least for me. Yeah, I did flashbacks, but I was never confused by what was going on. Because there's some movies that try to do too many flashbacks and I get discombobulated. I didn't feel that way here. I thought this was a pretty damn decent flick. Pretty damn decent flick. If you like these type of movies, give it a look. I don't want to give everything away, but yeah, this was nice to see. This was... Maybe I was under a rock when this film came out. Did other people talk about this movie? Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a classic or anything, but yeah, this is not that bad of a film. At least in my opinion. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you in the next video. Later.